Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Shri Radhe, Jayo Gauranitai, 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 Jayo Gauranitai, Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Gurudev, 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 हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज जी की जय। ओ ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त श्रीराधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, Dandavats. Welcome you all to today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam as part of the Bhakti Vaibhav session. So, we saw at the beginning of this particular chapter, Srila Narada Muni, basically Shukadev Goswami referring to the Brahma Narada Samvad to answer Maharaj Parikshit's question on how does the Maya Shakti, how does the creative potency of the Lord work. And in the first verse of this particular chapter, Srila Narada Muni specifically asking his father and the spiritual master Lord Brahma, Yat Jnanam Atma Tattva Nidarshanam, that please describe to me that knowledge about the soul and the super soul, which delineates the difference between the soul and the super soul. And in the subsequent verse, we see Narada Muni putting forth 6 different questions to Lord Brahma. Yad Rupam, what are the characteristics of the universe? Yad Adhishthanam, what is the shelter of this universe? Yata Srishtam, how it has been created. Yat Samstham, and how does the dissolution happen? Yat Param, what does the universe depend upon? And Yatcha, what is it composed of? And the answers to these specific questions by Lord Brahma to Narada Muni would constitute chapter number 5th, 6th, and 7th before Parikshit Maharaj further asked next set of questions to Shukadev Goswami. And after putting forth these questions to Lord Brahma, Narad Muni also glorifies him by saying that it appears that you have not gotten knowledge from anyone. You are self-sufficient, independent to create this entire cosmic manifestation by yourself. Is it so? And after glorifying Lord Brahma with so many glorifications, including you are independent and all, Narada Muni finally asked the question, although I have a doubt because I do see you performing great austerities, so is it there someone who you need to depend upon, for your empowerment? And then we subsequently see Lord Brahma first clarifying the misconception of Narada Muni by saying that only a person who is illusioned, who is under the influence of the external energy of the Lord, would consider himself as independent. Otherwise, in reality, in truth, everyone, including I myself, my dear boy Narada, I am dependent on the Supreme Lord for the creation. And specifically, not once but two times in text 11 and further in text 17, we see Lord Brahma, he admitting, Yena swarochisha vishwam rochitam rochayami aham, that I am the creator who creates only based on what has already been created by the Lord. So Lord Brahma gives due credit to Lord Krishna as the original creator and person who has given both the raw ingredients plus the intelligence to create the material cause and the what is the other cause? Nimitta and the Upadana cause behind creation is Lord Krishna according to Lord Brahma. And then after clarifying this particular misconception of Narada Muni, then Brahma comes to answering his 6 questions. And in that we saw the answer to the first question, Yad Rupam, what are the characteristics of the universe? And Brahmaji answering that Lord Vishnu is behind the creation of all the characteristics within this universe. And we saw the division of 24 different elements, false ego plus 23 different elements, how they are constituted. And we also discussed how at different places sometimes the list of these elements and the numbers, the list is same, but the numbers might differ slightly based on whether we consider the false ego as part of the list or we don't consider it. The list will constitute 23 or 24 elements. And if we consider the time factor, Kala Shakti of the Lord that Lord Brahma describes, that would constitute the 25th element. So, and I think this verse, did we cover all the 15 and 16 verses, Mataji's, Prabhuji's, last time? Or all right.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So then let's start with text 17 onwards. So after answering the question number 1, 2, and 5 from Narad Muni, then Brahmaji explains to Narada Muni the difference between the Supreme Lord as the Vishnu Tattva and the individual soul, Jiva Tattva, which was the first question in the text number 1 of this particular chapter. So let's recite the verse. And today's discussion will be relatively smaller, shorter, because I haven't had a chance to cover too many verses. So let's recite. Those devotees who would like to recite Prabhuji's, Mataji's, please keep your hands raised. Hare Krishna. Lalita Vinodini Mataji, Hare Krishna. You can unmute, Lalita Mataji.
I'm sorry, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Tasyapi drashtur ishasya
तस्यापि द्रष्टुरीशास्य
Kutastayakhilatmanah
Kutasthasyakhilatmanah
Srijyam Sajami Srishto Aham
Srijyam Srijyami Sristoham
Ikshayaiva Bhichoditah.
Iksha eva bhichoditah. So Hare Krishna, before we go to the translation, let's take a look at the verse itself. Tasyapi drashtur ishasya. So under the supervision and guidance of that Supreme Lord, Kutasthasya akhilatmanaha Srujam Srujami Srushtoham. Lord Brahma is second time admitting after text 11 that I create based on what has been created by the Lord, and Srushtoham. In fact, Lord Brahma admits that I am myself, I have been created by the Supreme Lord. So what to speak of me being an independent creator? I myself have been created by the Supreme Lord. Then how does this creation happen? This is very important line, the fourth line. Iksha yaiva abhichoditaha. That under guidance, supervision and inspiration by the Supreme Lord, Lord Brahma admits that he is able to create. Yes, Lalita Vinodini Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Inspired by him only, I discover what is already created by him, that is Narayana, under his vision as the all-pervading super soul, and I also am created by him only. Shall I continue, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes.
Purport. Even Brahma, the creator of the universe, admits that he is not the actual creator, but is simply inspired by the Lord Narayana, and therefore creates under his superintendence those things already created by him, the super soul of all living entities. Two identities of soul, the super soul and the individual soul, are admitted to be in the living entity, even by the greatest authority of the universe. Should I read only the highlighted part, Prabhuji?
You can read the complete.
Okay. The super soul is the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, whereas the individual soul is the eternal servitor of the Lord. The Lord inspires the individual soul to create what is already created by the Lord, and by the goodwill of the Lord, a discoverer of something in the world is accredited as a discoverer. It is said that Columbus discovered the Western Hemisphere, but actually the tract of land was not created by Columbus. The vast tract of land was already there by the omnipotency of the Supreme Lord, and Columbus, by dint of his past service unto the Lord, was blessed with the credit of discovering America. Similarly, no one can create anything without the sanction of the Lord. Since everyone sees according to his ability, this ability is also awarded by the Lord according to one's willingness to render service unto the Lord. One must therefore be voluntarily willing to render service unto the Lord, and thus the Lord will empower the doer in proportion to his surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Lord Brahma is the great devotee.
Thank you. We'll take a pause here. So here Srila Prabhupada explains that how somebody may be able to render great amount of service and somebody may be able to render a very small amount of service, but both the person rendering huge amount of service or the person rendering a very small amount of service, neither one should be proud nor one should be dejected. Why? Because ultimately that ability to render the service unto the Lord is awarded by the Lord based on what particular criteria? Based on our willingness to render service to the Lord, Krishna will empower us accordingly. And basically the difference between a pure devotee of the Lord and ordinary conditioned living entity is that a pure devotee of the Lord has got unlimited desires to serve the Lord, and in fact that is mentioned as the sole reason why the pure devotee wants to go back to Godhead, because in this world, while the devotee has unlimited desire to render service to the Lord, the faculties, the senses, and other facilities that are awarded by the Lord, they have their limitation in terms of how much the devotee's body can support. So as a result, to facilitate the unlimited desires of the pure devotee to render service to the Lord grants him a body in which he can render service unlimitedly and still not have any restrictions, not have any botherations with the limitations, etc. So even in the examples of great souls like Arjuna, for that matter, we see in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, after Krishna departs to his own abode, Arjuna himself wonders that how he was able to uh, perform such Herculean task as even defeating some of the greatest of the devatas in the battle, or impressing the greatest of the devatas in fight against them, while being an ordinary living entity compared to the might of the devatas. And he is grateful that after he is not able to defend the queens of Dwarka from the ordinary coward men, who in fact were Lord's own expansions, who took away his queens. Arjuna, he laments, but at the same time appreciates the fact that how every extraordinary feat that he could achieve in his lifetime was only due to the special empowerment provided to him to fulfill a certain specific purpose by the Lord. And once that purpose was fulfilled, once that service was done, then the same Lord, by his own sweet will, took away that empowerment, withdrew that empowerment from Arjuna, whereby he was not even able to defend against the ordinary coward men. The same person who was able to defeat even the great Indra and impress even the great Lord Shiva in the battle and please them, he was not able to fight against the coward men, ordinary coward men who attacked him with the sticks. So in this way, we see that the devotee is neither very elated nor very dejected to see when the empowerment is awarded to him or her by the Lord, or to see when the empowerment is withdrawn by the Lord at any specific point in time. The devotee is grateful to the Lord for whatever service opportunity he has been given in Lord's service. Similarly, we also see in case of Hanumanji's story, when Hanumanji, some commentators mention it was a spider who was trying to push the grains of sand into the ocean bed in order to build breach for Lord Ramachandra, and some commentators mention it as a squirrel. But in either case, when Hanumanji felt that that particular little service by the squirrel or the spider was an obstacle in he rendering his great service, Lord Ramachandra corrected him by saying that although quantity wise very small, that service is equally important and pleasing to Lord Ramachandra, because that is the empowerment granted by the Lord based on the surrender by that particular soul, the squirrel or the spider. And similar empowerment has also been granted by Lord to Hanumanji based on its own surrender and desire. So both are equally dear to the Lord. So it is not important what service we render, it is important with what mood we render the service, by being grateful to the Lord for whatever empowerment has been granted by him. So I think this point also briefly we had covered. Yes, Lalita Vinodini Mataji, Lord Brahma.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Lord
Krishna.
Brahma is a great devotee of the Lord. Therefore, he has been empowered or inspired by the Lord to create such a universe as the one manifested before us. The Lord also inspired Arjuna to fight in the field of Kurukshetra as follows. Tasmat tvam uttishta yasho labhasva jitva shatrun bhungshva rajyam samruddham mayai vete niyata purvam eva nimitta matram bhava savyasachan. Bhagavad Gita 11.33. The battle of Kurukshetra or any other battle at any place or at any time is made by the will of the Lord. For no sorry, For no one can arrange such mass annihilation without the sanction of the Lord. Should I continue, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
The party of Duryodhana
The party.
The party of Duryodhana insulted Draupadi, a great devotee of Krishna, and she appealed to the Lord as well as to all the silent observers of this unwarranted insult. Arjuna was then advised by the Lord to fight and take credit. Otherwise, the party of Duryodhana would be killed anyway by the will of the Lord. So Arjuna was advised just to become the agent and take the credit for killing great generals like Bhishma and Karna. In the Vedic writings such as Katha Upanishad, the Lord is described as Sarva Bhuta Antaratma, or the personality of Godhead who resides in everyone's body and who directs everything for one who is a soul surrendered unto him. Those who are not surrendered souls are put under the care of material nature. Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani Yantra Rudani Mayaya. Therefore, they are allowed to do things on their own account and suffer the consequences themselves. Devotees like Brahma and Arjuna do not do anything on their own account, but as fully surrendered souls, they always await indications from the Lord. Therefore, they attempt to do something which appears very wonderful to ordinary vision. One of the Lord's name is Urukrama, or one whose actions are very powerful and are beyond the imagination of the living being. So the actions of his devotees sometimes appear very wonderful due to the direction of the Lord. Beginning from Brahma, the topmost intelligent living entity within the universe, down to the smallest ant, every living entity's intelligence is overseen by the Lord in his transcendental position as the witness of all actions. The subtle presence of the Lord is felt by the intelligent man who can study the psychic effects of thinking, feeling, and willing. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. So can we think of any other examples from the scriptures, from Srila Prabhupada's writings, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, of a devotee being especially empowered by the Lord to do great things, to achieve great feats based on the specific empowerment granted by the Lord for that specific period of time? Can we think of any such examples?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. In Ramayana, the squirrel were helping. I don't know whether Prabhupada had mentioned in his purport, but this I just remember.
Yes, Prabhupada, yes. So in the Ramayana book, which has been written by Srila Prabhupada's disciples, it is mentioned. So yes, that is a example. So although very small in its capacity, the Lord did empower that particular small living entity to contribute in a manner which was very pleasing to the Lord. That was one. Any other example of a devotee, seemingly very small or limited, but able to achieve extraordinary feats? Any other? So
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, I'm not very sure of this, but then Prahlad, can that also be counted because he did not follow any process like Dhruva also because he was not sure, but then he was always in Bhakti. So the efforts he did, he was always regretful that he could not do anything. Also his environment was not favorable, but still Krishna accepted him for what he is. Will that count in this or no?
So one thing, Prahlad Maharaj, he did follow the process of remembering the Lord 24/7. And
Correct.
in fact, at no point in time did he forget the Lord, right from while being in the womb of his mother. So definitely Prahlad Maharaj is a greatly empowered soul. He is, we see, one of the 12 authorities on the path of devotional service. And subsequent description in Srimad Bhagavatam, though most famous pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj are because of atrocities meted out upon him by Hiranyakashipu, there is a substantial part of 7th canto, 12th chapter onwards, 12th and 13th chapter onwards, describing how Prahlad Maharaj ruled the earthly planet based on empowerment given by the Lord in a very righteous and virtuous manner, and subsequently how he meets with the Avaduta and learns very important lessons from him. So Prahlad Maharaj was definitely an empowered personality who was specifically empowered by the Lord at such a young age to stand against the most powerful asura of that particular time, Hiranyakashipu. So that is one example.
Prabhuji, what about Hare Krishna Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
What about Jatayu Prabhuji in Ramayana?
Jatayu, yes, so Jatayu's example is specifically given that although Jatayu knew for sure that he does not stand a chance in front of Ravana in terms of his might and strength, but still he gave his all in order to protect and save Mother Sita and please Lord Ramachandra in that particular way. So Jatayu's example is shown as the greatest, is generally given for the great sacrifice made by the devotee in pleasing the Supreme Lord with whatever limited capacity he had. He did not mind even sacrificing his life.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, can be named Putana also. Oh, her intention was bad, but she got liberated.
Yeah, so specifically examples we are looking at are of devotees who were specifically empowered by the Lord to perform great feats. So Putana's example is given
She was not a
as,
devotee.
yeah, as somebody whose even externals were taken by the Lord as of essence, and while ignoring what was not favorable to Lord's devotional service, and still she being granted the highest destination of being Lord's own mother in the spiritual world. So I'll suggest I can share a few. Say, for example, the Goswamis of Vrindavan, all the 6 Goswamis, and in that specifically we can mention, we can quote examples of somebody like Srila Jiva Goswami or Rupa Goswami. And one may say that these are not ordinary souls, but they were the 6 Manjaris, the assistants of the 8 principal gopis of Srimati, who were assistants of Srimati Radharani. But we see that they were granted such empowerment by the Lord. Specifically for Jiva Goswami, he was one of the greatest scholars of all time, even who has been acknowledged by the great material authorities. If we Google for Srila Jiva Goswami, we see that how his mention and accolades are there even from the great Mughal emperors, etc. So in the case of Jiva Goswami, it is mentioned that when he used to write the scriptures, which was the instruction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the Goswamis, and specifically instruction coming from Sanatan Goswami to Rupa Goswami and Rupa Goswami to Jiva Goswami. So Jiva Goswami's spiritual master was Rupa Goswami and his spiritual master was Sanatan Goswami. So it is mentioned that when he used to write on the palm leaves, the ink, whatever he would use with the natural minerals, it would take some time to dry up on the leaves. So first leaf, when the verses were written, immediately the back of the leaf was not being used because the ink was still fresh and not dried. So Jiva Goswami was such an empowered personality that he could write his compositions, the verses and the commentary on those verses. On the first leaf, leave the space for what is going to come next after that first leaf was written, and then write on the third leaf and wait for the first one to dry up. And he was such an empowered personality. Which author can accomplish this? Just give a thought, Prabhuji's, Mataji's. That say, for example, Srila Prabhupada has written this particular purport. So if a person was asked to write this, then leave space for the second paragraph because the leaf is not yet ready, the back of the leaf is not yet ready, and then write the third paragraph on the third leaf. And when the first leaf is dried enough, then continue writing the second paragraph. It is humanly impossible to compose such literature to such accuracy and to such effective, passing of the message coming from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Goswamis were empowered to that degree. And we also see that especially for other Goswamis like Sanatan Goswami, it is mentioned that he was dear to both the Dhira, those who were Dhira, those who were devotees, as well as the ruffians, the rowdy people and all. He was dear to both, and they were inspired, they were empowered to inspire even the ruffians in their preaching of Krishna consciousness. So this is one example. We also see the example of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada himself admitted many times that as per his natural death, which was to occur he was supposed to pass away in 1969 itself, when he suffered that heart attack while being in the West, and when the preaching was still at a very nascent stage. But it was the prayers by the devotees, intense prayers by the devotees at that particular time, who Srila Prabhupada guided to pray to Lord Narsingadev that if you wish, you give us the association of our spiritual master for some more time, because we are not yet fully ready and mature to carry on the task of taking this spiritual life by ourselves and even spreading it all over the world. And we see Srila Prabhupada himself again, who who took up such a humongous task of translating and giving commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, referring to commentaries of predecessor acharyas and presenting it in a way that it would be very relatable and contemporary for the uh, modern class of people, and which will be applicable and relevant for 10,000 years to come. Srila Prabhupada said, my books will be the law books for the next 10,000 years. So this is also a special empowerment by the Lord, that first of all, nobody can write Krishna conscious literature without having the special empowerment. And secondly, writing that literature in such a way which would be relatable to the current generation of people and even upcoming generations. Like we see, for example, if we see the commentaries of previous acharyas like Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, quite a few chapters we see Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has titled in one particular way, and Srila Prabhupada has given commentary or titled them in one specific context. So it is not that one is right and other is wrong, but it is that the acharyas know what is of essence and relevance to a particular section of audience. And Srila Prabhupada presented the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy in that particular manner, which inspired so many souls around the world. So these are examples of some of the greatly empowered personalities. Because of their willingness to render unlimited service to the Lord also empowered them to perform great feats. Any other one example probably we can consider, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Anyone wants to share any thoughts? Hare Krishna. All right, so we proceed. Yeah, one example which also comes to mind is from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita of a very special devotee called Narsimha Nanda Brahmachari. So this particular devotee had a great desire to give comforts to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was on his trip from Jagannath Puri to Vrindavan. And it is explained that similar to this Brahmana of Pratishtanpur, whose mention comes in Nectar of Devotion, who offered kheer, sweet rice, in his meditation to the Lord, this Narsimananda Brahmachari, he in his meditation would clean the roads and sprinkle them with rose petal water, and have so many nice uh, decorative plants and flower bearing plants on both sides of the road in order to decorate the road for the arrival of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Charitamrita mentions that in fact, literally, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was exactly seeing the road very nicely cleaned and beautified on both sides, the way Nasimananda Brahmachari was decorating it in his meditation. So, although capacity-wise he was just an ordinary Brahmachari with no material means to do any of those services that he wanted to render, but Krishna did empower him by manifesting exactly what he was contemplating, manifesting it in front of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is also an example of a special empowerment. Any questions, comments, thoughts, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, on this very important item? What should be one's mood in rendering service to the Lord, and in what way Lord reciprocates with that particular mood? And Srila Prabhupada also writes in the purport that Krishna gives the credit to the devotee. Where is that statement? 1 second, just before Columbus. Yes, the Lord inspires the living, the individual soul to create what is already created by the Lord, and by the goodwill of the Lord, a discoverer of something in the world is accredited as the discoverer. That means Krishna not only empowers the devotee based on his sincere desire to serve, but he also wants to give credit to the devotee, just like he gave to Arjuna for devouring all the Kauravas and the soldiers on the opposite side. Krishna wanted Arjuna to get credit. As such, they were already dead because of the will of the Lord, but he wants to give credit to the devotees by his goodwill. And Srila Prabhupada gives example of Columbus in one of the classes. He also mentions that probably Columbus would have done some service or some has had some pious credits in the earlier life, that Krishna empowered him with this credit of discovering America. It is not that America was not in place or created before Columbus' arrival. It was already there, but Krishna wanted him to get credit, just like he sometimes gives the credit to the devotees out of his goodwill. Any questions, comments, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, Hare Krishna? If not, we proceed.
Krishna Prabhu, I have a doubt in this. So, in the Samudra mantra and also like in Mayapur, they show a video. So they project, that Shiva is having the poison, whereas Krishna is taking the good ones. Is that also to give credits to Lord Shiva? Because
Definitely,
same, no?
definitely. Yes,
Okay.
yes. So
Right.
when no other empowered personalities, including the great devatas, other devatas and all, nobody was coming forth to accept the poison, the halal poison which had come out of the churning of the milk ocean, Lord Shiva accepted, and he is eternally glorified for that. As the Nilakanta, as one who has got a blue throat because of having drunk all the poison, halal poison. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Gita Pradeep Mataji, Hare Krishna, text 18.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
Dandavat.
Sattvam rajas tama iti
Sattvam Rajastama iti
nirgunasya gunastrayah
Nirgunasya
Gunastrayah.
Gunastrayah
Sthiti sarga nirodeshu
Sthiti
Sargo
Nirodeshu
grihita maya vibho.
Grahita
Maya
Vibho. So
Translation.
before we go to the translation, here in terms of the Sanskrit words, Lord Brahma is saying, Sattvam Rajas Tama iti nirgunasya gunastrayah, that this particular Lord who appears to be nirguna doesn't mean devoid of all qualities, it means devoid of material qualities, nirgunasya. That he creates the three modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And through these actions of the three modes, he makes these three, what you can say, statuses of the cosmic manifestation in terms of its creation, which is sarga, in terms of its maintenance, which is sthiti, and in terms of its annihilation, which is nirodha, happen. So sthiti, sarga, and nirodha are in the sequence of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So Lord Krishna creates the three modes, and through the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, he effects the maintenance, the creation, and annihilation of the cosmic manifestation. Yes, Mataji, translation.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Lord is pure, spiritual form, transcendental to all material qualities, yet for the sake of the creation of the material world and its maintenance and annihilation, he accepts through his external energy the material modes of nature called goodness, passion, and ignorance. Purport.
Thank you.
The
One
Supreme
second.
Lord is okay.
Yeah, you can read the complete purport, Mataji. Yeah.
Okay. The Supreme Lord is the master of the external energy manifested by the three material modes, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. And as a master of this energy, He is ever unaffected by the influence of such bewildering energy. The living entities, the jivas, however, are affected by or susceptible to being influenced by such modes of material nature. That is the difference between the Lord and the living entities. The living entities are subjected by those qualities, although originally the living entities are qualitatively one with the Lord. In other words, the material modes of nature, being products of the energy of the Lord, are certainly connected with the Lord. But the connection is just like that between the master and the servants. The Supreme Lord is the controller of the material energy, whereas the living entities who are entangled in the material world are neither masters nor controllers. Rather, they become subordinate to or controlled by such energy. Factually, the Lord is eternally manifested by his internal potency or spiritual energy, just like the sun and its rays in the clear sky. But at times, he creates the material energy as the sun creates a cloud in the clear sky. As the sun is ever increasingly unaffected by a spot of cloud, so also the unlimited Lord is unaffected by the spot of material energy manifested at times in the unlimited span of the Lord's rays of Brahmajyoti. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. So here the analogy is given just like a sun out of its own effect and influence, the sun creates the clouds by evaporating the water of the ocean, and sometimes the cloud seem to cover the sun, but that is not a fact because clouds can never cover the sun because sun is many more times huge, bigger than the earth planet itself, what to speak of a tiny cloud. So similarly, Lord Krishna creates the three modes of material nature which influence the conditioned soul, but the Lord is always above it. So while he is controlling the three modes, he is untouched by those three modes, he is unaffected by those three modes. That's why he is referred to as nirguna. That means one who is not influenced by the three modes of material nature. These analogies are very important, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, because these have been presented by our predecessor acharyas. So not just from the exam point, but even in our own explanation to people in general, till the time we have sufficient realizations, it is always safe to rely upon the analogies and the examples which are given by the predecessor acharyas to explain a point. So from this verse, text 17, from the previous text 17 till text 20th, we are seeing what is the difference between an individual soul and the Supreme Lord. So in the previous verse, we saw how an individual soul desires to serve the Lord, and based on his desire, he is granted empowerment and he is also credited with that particular service by the mercy of the Lord. And in the text 18, Lord Brahma explains that how the Supreme Lord creates the three modes of material nature, and under those three modes, he influences the entire set of living entities in this world, but he himself is not influenced by the three modes. So then we proceed to the next verse, text 19. Sanjukta Mataji, Hare Krishna. Is there any question, comment, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? This is, some part of it is technical, but not too difficult based on the explanation given by Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Yes, Sanjukta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Karya Karana Kartutva
Karya Karana Kartutve
Drabya Jnana Kriyashrayah
Kriyashrayah
Vatnanti Nityata Muktam
Bhajanti Nityata
Mainang Purushang Gunaha.
Translation.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. These three modes of material nature being further manifested as matter, knowledge and activities put the eternally transcendental living entities under condition of cause and effect and make him responsible for such activities.
Thank you, Mother. So 6 various creations of the 3 modes are mentioned. So first set of creations is Dravya, Jnana and Kriya Shrayaha. So Dravya means the matter, the 5 material elements, knowledge and the activities which are in turn performed through cause and effects, Karana and Kartutve, by the living entities. So living entities are subjected to these 3 creations, not 3, 6 creations by the 3 modes of material nature. And through these creations of the material, 3 modes of material nature, the living entities, they become constantly bound. Badnanti nityada muktam. Nityada means for so long a period of time that it seems like eternity. So since eternity, the living entities who are supposed to be transcendental, they remain bound because of these effects of 3 modes. Ma inam purusham gunaha. And purusham here in this context is referred to the spirit soul, the conditioned living entities, because although they are conditioned, they think themselves as the enjoyer, proprietor and controller. So by the 3 modes of material nature, because of these 6 effects, the living entities remain bound and conditioned. Yes, Mataji. You already read the translation, right, Mataji?
Yes.
Okay. Purport. Yeah. Complete purport.
Complete purport, Prabhuji?
Yeah. Yes.
Because they are between the internal and the external potencies, the eternal transcendental living entities are called the marginal potency of the Lord. Factually, the living entities are not meant to be so conditioned by material energy, but due to their being affected by the false sense of lording it over the material energy, they came under the influence of such potencies and thus become conditioned by the 3 mode of material nature. This this external energy of Lord covers up the pure knowledge of the living entities eternally existing with him. But the covering is so constant that it appears that the conditioned soul is eternally ignored. Such is wonderful action of Maya, the external energy manifested as if materially produced. By the covering power of the material energy, the material scientist cannot look beyond the material causes, but factually behind the material manifestation there is adhibhuta, adhidaivyam, uh, uh, Adi
Adhyatma.
Atma and Adi Daivyam actions, which the conditioned soul in the mode of ignorance cannot see. The Avibhuta manifestations entitles repetitions of births and deaths with old age and disease. The Adhyatma manifestation conditions the spirit soul, and the Adhidaiva manifestation is the controlling system. These are the material manifestations of cause and effects and the sense of responsibility of the conditioned actors. They are, after all, manifestations of the conditioned state. And the human being's freedom from such a conditioned state is the highest perfectional attainment.
Attainment.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mother. One second. Yeah. So here it is mentioned that the effects of these 3 modes of material nature, the 6 different effects, they are the 6 elements, sorry, the 5 elements, the knowledge and the activities which are caused by the living entity, which are supposed to be caused by the 3 modes, but which in effect cause the conditioning of the living entities from time of eternities, from time immemorial. And In this way, the living entity considers itself as a enjoyer. So now we come to text 20, which is the last text in this particular section of chapter number 5, where Brahmaji is covering the 3 out of 6 questions. So this covers the question number 1, 2, and 5 asked by Narada Muni, and also the first question before all the 6 questions were asked, which was to delineate the difference between the soul and the super soul. So we come to text 20. Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Bhagavan Lingais.
Sa Esha Bhagavan Lingaya
Eter Ajokshaja.
Raitar
Lakshi Sagate Brahman.
Swalakshitagati Brahman
Mama Cheshwara.
Sarvesha Mama Cheshwaraha.
Translation.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Oh Brahmana Narada, the super seer, the transcendent Lord is beyond the perception of the material senses of the living entities because of the above mentioned 3 modes of nature. But He is the controller of everyone, including me. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 7.24 and 25, the Lord has declared very clearly that the impersonalist who gives more importance to the transcendental rays of the Lord as Brahma Jyoti and who concludes that the absolute truth is ultimately impersonal and only manifests a form at the time of necessity is less intelligent than the personalist, however much the impersonalist may be engaged in studying the Vedanta.
Continue, Mataji. The fact.
The fact is that such impersonalists are covered by the above mentioned 3 modes of material nature. Therefore, they are unable to approach the transcendental personality of the Lord. The Lord is not approachable by everyone because He is curtained by His Yogamaya potency. But one should not wrongly conclude that the Lord was formerly unmanifested and has now manifested Himself in the human form. This misconception of the formlessness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is due to the Yogamaya curtain of the Lord and can be removed only by the Supreme Will as soon as the conditioned soul surrenders unto Him. The devotees of the Lord, who are transcendental to the above mentioned 3 modes of material nature, can see the all blissful transcendental form of the Lord with their vision of love in the attitude of pure devotional service. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is referring to few verses from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. He directly mentions the number, chapter 7, text 24 and 25. And Srila Prabhupada is also referring through his own purport the famous verse by Kunti Devi in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Maya Javanika Channam Adnya Dokshajam Avyayam Na Lakshase Mudadrusha Nato Natya Dharo Yata. So this word Lakshase is also used in this particular text 20th. Swa Lakshita Gatir Brahman, that Lord Himself covers by His Yogamaya potency from the non-devotees. So here also it is mentioned by Kunti Devi that being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. Or other devotees explain this particular verse that, say for example, if there is a classical dance being played on the stage and some audience are sitting right in the front row and watching that classical dance, but if they don't know the various mudras, what do they denote, what do they signify, then they would probably would not be able to appreciate that dance fullest. They will consider it as a nice gymnastics or artistic skill, but they won't be able to relate what that dancer is trying to portray in terms of an episode or Lord pastime. But somebody who may be sitting 10 rows behind or 20 rows behind, but who does know the meaning of those mudras, would be able to appreciate that dance so much because they know what the artist is trying to present or portray. Similarly, here it is mentioned that Lord Krishna, only for his devotees, are his mudras and his activities are really known. Significance of them are really known. And on the right hand side, two sets of personalities are mentioned, non-devotees. Can we guess what are these two scenarios? On the right hand side, who is the first person in the top picture? Shishupal. Shishupal. Yes. And who is the second one? You can guess because it's a very old, that is not from ISKCON, because I couldn't get one from ISKCON for the relevant context. But this is a photo when Lord Krishna, see, there is no sword in Lord Krishna's hand. It is holding somebody's hand who was trying to defend. So this is the assembly of Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra, in whose assembly Lord Krishna had gone as a peace messenger. And when Krishna showed the Virat form to Duryodhana, he considered it as a mystic manifestation by the Lord in order to apprehend or in order to impress upon him his mystic powers. And Duryodhana ordered Lord Krishna's arrest. And Krishna basically showed the Virat form, and no soldier of Duryodhana could even touch him. So point is, to such foolish observers, Lord Krishna is always covered by the curtain of not even a Yogamaya, but Mahamaya potency. But for the devotees, he is sometimes covered by the Yogamaya curtain for a different purpose, not like what the demons have their visions covered for. And other similar verse, Krishna himself states in Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavritaha mudoyam nabhijanati loko mam ajam avyayam. That he is not manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, he is always covered by the internal potency, because they do not know that Krishna is unborn and infallible. So although such persons, like even in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, we see that he appeared as the most munificent and large-hearted incarnation of the Lord in order to give his mercy to even the most fallen. But there were some unfortunate personalities, not some, but quite a few, Smarta Brahmanas, etc., for whose deliverance Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually decided to accept sannyas order of life. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought that I have come to this world to deliver even the most fallen personalities. But what is happening, because of these smart Brahmanas being very envious of me and committing lot of offenses towards me, rather than uplifting themselves, they are further degrading. That means if I don't act, I don't do something, then these people will glide down to even the lower spaces of life because of their offenses towards the Supreme Lord. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to accept sannyas order, because at that time, even if a sannyasi was from any sampradaya, even from the Mayavad school and all, they were still respected because of that ashram. So these smart Brahmanas will invariably respect the Supreme Lord, at least because of his renounced order of life, at least because of he being a sannyasi. That's why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to accept sannyas order, so as to save these people from gliding down to the lower species. So we see how in every incarnation of the Lord, there is always a set of such personalities like Shishupal, Duryodhan, and the smart Brahmanas in the case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who even if having Lord Krishna personally present in front of them, they could never appreciate the presence of the Supreme Lord, because their vision is always covered by the curtain of Mahamaya. Any question or comments, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Any other examples can we think of where the person did not realize Krishna's presence even when Krishna was present in front? Can we think of any other example? Think those who have not answered, give some thought. Gunavati Mataji and Mangalamai Sri Prada Mataji, Nityangi Mataji, and Rohini Mataji, and Vivek Sharma Prabhu, Venkata Narsimha Prabhu, and others. Can we think of any other example where Krishna in his any of incarnations or forms was present in front of the person, but still they could not appreciate the benefit?
Ravana, Prabhuji.
Ravana.
Ravanasura. He never. He always thought Rama was a simple human. He was a simple manava, human being, and he did not have any powers. So he did not realize that the creation of all the animals which helped him to destroy the whole Lanka was the divine manifestation.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So very true, and in fact, there is one very nice pastime about Ravana that I had heard in one of the classes. That one time Ravana, he did go to different planets in order to seek and collect help before his fight with Lord Ramachandra, and it is explained that in one particular lower planet, when Ravana visits, he is shown a great pile or a mountain of gold, and which one specific person asked him to lift it, and he is not even able to move. And that particular mountain of gold, Ravana was told, was actually from the earring of Hiranyakashipu, and Ravana was also mentioned. Imagine that Hiranyakashipu, whose gold equivalent of his earring you are not able to move, that Hiranyakashipu was annihilated by Lord Narsimhadev, and the same Lord Narsimhadev has come now in front of you as Lord Ramachandra. So don't dare to fight with Lord Ramachandra. And Ravana, his eyes were still not opened, and he still could not get his cue how powerful Lord Ramachandra was, and that he should not mess. In fact, it is in Ramayana, there is a whole list of personalities. It is mentioned 10 to 15 plus personalities, including the chief minister of Ravana, the most chaste wife of Ravana, Mandodari. She mentioned to her husband, his own brother Kumbhakarna. He also mentioned to Ravana, why this foolishness? Bibhishan mentioned to Ravana that because of you, the entire Lanka would meet destruction. Just give back Mother Sita to Lord Ramachandra, and he is so magnanimous that he won't harm you any further. And Lord Ramachandra himself committed to Sugriva and all that if Ravana surrenders, even at that point in time, about to speak of giving him protection, he would make him the king of Ayodhya even. But Ravana did not get his cue and still decided to fight against Lord Ramachandra and lose his own life, plus cause the destruction of the entire Sri Lanka as a result. So yes, that is a very good example, Murli Prabhu. Any other example?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Other devotees? Hare Krishna.
And Prabhuji, Kamsa, Prabhuji.
Kamsa, okay. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, I mean, say he always thought of Lord Krishna, but in a negative manner, as his enemy out there. So,
yes,
though being his, yeah.
Yeah, and all the demons, including the great Bakasur, Putana, Agasur, Shakatasur, and Pralambasur, and so many other demons who, to be honest, they were not friends of Kamsa, but out of fear, they had aligned with Kamsa. Originally, when all of these powerful demons were killed one after another, Kamsa should have gotten his clue to not mess with Lord Krishna, but he still decided to attempt to kill Lord Krishna through all of his might, using the restless and the mad elephant, and finally he himself wanted to kill Krishna and Balaram, and he made a destructive feat. Any other examples?
What about Jarasandha, Prabhuji? Jarasandha?
Jarasandha, yes. So Jarasandha, correct. He was one of the classic example who, when Arjuna, Bhimasen, and Krishna went disguised as the Brahmanas in front of Jarasandha asking for charity, Jarasandha recognized them because of various Kshatriya marks on their body, marks of valor in terms of having fought so many battles. They had so many marks of weapons inflicted upon their bodies. Jarasandha immediately understood that they look like Brahmanas, but they are not Brahmanas, they are Kshatriyas. And when he recognized them as Arjun, Bhima, and Krishna, he derided Krishna as being somebody who, based on the Varnashram, is not qualified to fight with Jarasandha. He said, we don't even know your proper kula or family. Though you were born of a Kshatriya, you were raised by a Vaishya, and throughout your life, your upbringing has been as a Vaishya. So I consider you as not my equal match to fight with me. And similarly, Arjun, Jarasandha said that you are younger than me. So although you are a qualified Kshatriya, I don't fight with kids. And then Bhimasen, he considered equal in terms of strength. So even Jarasandha derided Krishna. And yes, thank you, Mataji. Let me request devotees. Vivek Sharma Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Venkata Narsimha Prabhu, you want to try? Any other example? All right. Any other devotees? Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Rohini Mataji.
This is not demonic per se, but at times even Indra and Brahma initially failed to recognize Krishna when he was in his childhood.
Yes.
In some of the pastimes.
Yes. Like in the Govardhan pastime, we see Indra, he not recognizing Krishna as his own worshipable Lord. He tried to destroy entire Vraja, being upset because of his worship being stopped by this impudent coward boy. He decided to destroy the entire Vraja, not understanding Krishna. Thank you.
Prabhuji, Yashoda Mata never realized that Krishna is Lord Supreme.
Yes, but the difference between Krishna's great devotees is they are covered by the Yogamaya potency, whereas for the demons, they are covered by Mahamaya. So that is a great difference. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. How about Duryodhana?
Duryodhana, yes, Mataji. So the picture on the right hand side, second one is of Duryodhana trying to arrest Krishna. And even Venkata Narsimha Prabhu mentioned Shishupal. Yes, that is the first picture. Correct. Both are right.
And all
Prabhuji,
Sudama was, to be honest, I have not come across any specific portion of the writings where he did not understand Krishna's position. So in fact, he was grateful to Krishna that basically his mood was like, although I considered him as my contemporary, but he is now such a great king of Dwarka, but he still did not forget that old friendship when we were studying together in Gurukul of Sandipani Muni. So Sudama was that way very grateful to the Lord.
Okay.
In Kurukshetra war, those all those kings who supported Duryodhana are also not realizing that Krishna is the God.
Yeah, not all, because there were some virtuous personalities on Kaurava side as well who had to align with Kaurava out of compulsion. So, for example, Bhishma, he was a great devotee of the Supreme Lord. There is also one more, the Mamaji, uncle of Arjuna, who was deceived by Duryodhana, and he was a great virtuous soul. But majority of the warriors on the Kaurava side, except few exceptions.
But Karn can be taken, right, Prabhuji? Karn
was definitely,
right.
He was a demon, because Krishna personally tried to give him good counsel, asking him to align with Pandavas and even promising him that if Pandavas win, it will be you, not even Yudhishthir who would become the king. But he did not learn his lesson or understand Krishna's position.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, what about
You mean-
Paundraka and Rukmi?
Paundraka, yes, Paundraka is a classic example. Like just few days back, I heard that story from Krishna book. Paundraka Vasudev, he was an imposter who considered Krishna and as an imposter. So Paundraka thought that he was real Krishna and Krishna was an imposter according to him. And he asked Krishna to give up the Sudarshan Chakra and all other paraphernalia of the Supreme Lord and stop cheating people by posing as Vasudev, the Supreme Lord. And Krishna simply laughed. So he was a real, what we can say, Vikshipta or pervert actually, who considered himself as the Supreme Lord, Paundraka Vasudev. Sorry, somebody was saying something, Prabhuji?
Rukmi also, no Prabhu? Rukmini's brother?
Correct. Rukmi as well, though Rukmi's own father, who was the father of Rukmini, the king of Vidarbha?
Bhishmaka.
Bhishmaka, correct.
Bhishmaka, yeah.
Though Bhishmaka understood Krishna's position, Rukmini understood Krishna's position, and Bhishmaka was favorable to his daughter's desire to have her married with Krishna, Rukmi considered Shishupal as being more qualified than Krishna because of his envy. And while Krishna spared Rukmi's life once out of his love for Rukmini, he still continued to come up with various devious means to attack Dwarka and finally was killed by Balaramji. Rukmi was killed by Balaramji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, sorry, one small thing is, whoever you have been telling, whether it's Shishupal, Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, all of them felt they are powerful enough because they have taken whatever boon and they will be able to defeat Krishna. So stupid, there is a logic. But Paundraka, somehow I'm not able to get the logic, Prabhu. So how will he get confused that he is Krishna himself? Because you told me last time that if you make a mistake, you may not declare to someone, but to your heart you will know, correct? So Paundraka actually declared himself to outside his spine, but then how won't he know to himself that he is not Krishna? So that was a little confusing for me. I'm not able to.
Yeah, very good question. So basically, when Maya too much overwhelmingly covers someone, the last snare of Maya is that the person starts thinking himself as the Supreme Lord. That is mentioned as the last snare of Maya. So out of all these demons which we discussed, many of them thought that they had a chance to defeat Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna and kill Lord Krishna if given a chance. But Paundraka, he was so much covered by Maya that he considered himself as Krishna and Krishna, real Krishna, as imposter. So he did not compare himself with Krishna, but he considered himself as Krishna. So that was highest form of covering, you can say.
Okay, because he was a ruler, right? So he was not like a lunatic or something.
Yeah, he was.
Okay, sure.
So
that
just shows that to what degree of craziness a person one can go.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Then in that case, even the people who pose themselves as gods in this Kali Yuga out there, they are not accepting.
Yeah, so but the problem with Mataji of these imposters, many of them are like cheaters, as in they really are not fully convinced. They try to pose themselves as God to get cheap profit, adoration, distinction, and worship. But many of them themselves are not fully convinced. They may pose it in front of their followers. So they are demons, but not of that caliber like Paundraka and all. But Paundraka really was convinced. Not only did he pose, he was convinced that he is real Krishna and Krishna was imposter. So Prabhupada mentions that the problem with today's demons is that though they are demons, they are not demons of that caliber as the demons of the earlier ages were. They were really of highest asura caliber, you can say.
Prabhuji, I heard Paundraka was slightly lunatic, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so crazy means all the other terms apply. He was really convinced of his false identity. Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much. We are concluding slightly early. Next sitting, when we meet, we would try to conclude this particular chapter. There are close to 20 odd verses remaining, but they all are form of the one particular section of this chapter. So we'll try and cover this in one sitting, remaining verses. Let's see, Krishna willing. Any other
Hare
question,
Krishna,
comments? Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
one
Yes, ma'am.
question, Prabhuji, from Bhakti Shastri question it is actually.
Yeah.
So what is the illusory curtain that separates us from the Lord Krishna, Prabhuji? Like, what will be the answer, Prabhuji?
What is the illusory curtain which separates?
Prabhuji.
In what particular context it is mentioned, Mataji?
So with respect to 7.25 per Prabhuji, 7.25 per.
Okay, 1 second. Now I have this verse open. Are you able to hear the background sound here or no background sound, Mataji?
No,
No,
background
Prabhuji.
sound.
Okay, thank. So I am hearing lot of background sound because of some function here. I would read through and answer this, Mataji. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji.
So
Prabhuji,
can
here
you?
mainly they are telling Yoga Maya, Prabhuji, in the purport, but in the question itself, it is given as illusory curtain. They have given, Prabhuji. That's why, like, it is confusing, Prabhuji.
So, yeah. So in general, principle wise, Yoga Maya in general, so don't get confused. In general, Yoga Maya acts on the devotees, Mahamaya acts on the demoniac persons. That is in general. But they are all both energies of Krishna in different format. One for us acting on devotees, one for demons. Can you ping me the question, Mataji, and then I go through the purport and I will answer.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Any other questions, comments, thoughts, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, what covers us, Prabhuji? Mundane people, but
If we are at least sincerely trying to be devotees of the Lord, the covering of Mahamaya will go on reducing for sure, Mataji. So nobody of us, we can confidently mention that we are fully under Yoga Maya. And there is one verse, right? What is that verse? That my devotees are always under the protection of Daivi Prakruti. What is that verse? Daivi
Devi Esha
Prakruti.
Gunamayi, is it?
Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Dhuratya.
Not that.
Mahamanastu Mam Partha Devim Prakritim Ashrita.
Mahatmanastu Mam Partha Daivim Prakrutim Ashrita. That the devotees of the Lord who have taken shelter of the Lord, they are always under the protection of Krishna's divine energy. So if we are surrendered to Krishna, that much influence of Mahamaya will be less, and that much influence of Lord Krishna's divine protection, Yoga Maya, will be on a higher side, Mataji. Prema Priya.
Yoga Maya is a protective covering, Prabhuji.
It is definitely protective covering because it enables Lord's pastimes and enables the devotees' interactions with the Lord. So based on Krishna's desire, Yoga Maya potency acts, but she doesn't act detrimental to the devotees. Like we see in the Krishna book that she used to act on the Gopas, the Gopis, and even Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai to make them act in a way that is pleasurable to Lord Krishna, so that their interaction with Lord Krishna will be one of pleasure giving to the Lord. So that is good.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. This Yoga Maya is the eternal energy of Krishna, no? And
both are eternal. So just that they act in different way in order to serve Krishna's purpose. So Mahamaya is also eternal. In fact, in the previous chapter, we saw in the concluding part how wherever Krishna is there, the Yoga Maya and Mahamaya potencies are there like shadow behind the Lord. So both are eternal.
so we are, so Jivas are in that's a marginal energy, marginal potency of Lord.
Yes,
okay,
but
so
we are
that,
also
that
eternal.
means we are eternal. Okay, so one of the class I heard that we are the Tadastha Shakti. We are in the Tad. That means we are in the edge of that. Yeah. Okay. So that is our choice. That is choice. We have to move to the spirit, external energy or to the internal energy of
which is right. But still, we are eternal despite that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
So
that
that is
famous verse,
depends upon
right?
us.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that
in
is depends upon us too. We have to move to the internal energy to the Lord
or
or to the
external energy. Correct.
external energy. So
Correct.
okay.
So that
Okay.
famous
So if we
verse.
are more to the if we are more to the external energy, we are covered by the
Mahamaya.
your Mahamaya.
Mahamaya.
Acha.
Correct.
Okay, okay.
But still we are eternal
Hare
even when we are covered by Mahamaya.
yeah.
Okay, so
Hare Krishna.
eternity it with respect to the existence of the living entity, and being under Yogamaya or Mahamaya is based on our surrender to Lord Krishna.
So always some Maya is always acting on us, Prabhuji.
Yes, just that Yogamaya is assisting with the devotees' devotional service. Mahamaya is covering the devotees to the level that we are in, like not surrendered to Lord Krishna. So Maya is not bad, but in general, Maya in the material world, it means the Mahamaya, which covers the ignorant living entities. But Maya as such is performing a very important function of filtering the living entities from not disturbing Lord Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, you said like devotees are covered by Yoga Maya and demons are covered by Mahamaya.
Mahamaya.
That's what you said, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes,
But
Mataji.
in Naham Prakasha Sarvas,
so basically,
that verse, Lord Krishna says himself that he is covered by Yoga Maya. Prabhuji, how to understand that, Prabhuji?
Yeah, so see, in general, the Maya potency, it has its two functions as a Mahamaya and the Yoga Maya. So it is not that these energies are not of Lord Krishna. So Yoga Maya typically is referred to as Subhadra Mai, and Mahamaya is typically referred to as Mother Parvati or the wife of Lord Shiva as Durga. So both are eternally energies of the Lord, and their functions is basically to assist the Lord in different manner. So what principle I mentioned is in general, it applies that Yoga Maya for devotees assisting Lord Krishna in his pastimes, and Mahamaya for demons blocking their vision or understanding of Lord Krishna. So in one particular context, Krishna has used the word Yoga Maya. For example, Bhagwan is typically used for Lord Krishna, but sometimes it is also used to denote the great devotees. But that doesn't change the meaning of Bhagwan. So like that I mentioned, in principle, Yogamaya is to assist the Lord in his pastimes. Mahamaya is to block the rebellious souls from coming or from having the vision of the Lord. That is the principle. This is an exception where Yogamaya is mentioned, which covers even the non-devotees. But in general, the principle wise, these energies are meant for devotees and non-devotees, Mataji.
Prabhu, sorry for interrupting. In line with the same thing, if you see, I have a doubt again. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's birth is there. No? There also they talk about Krishna getting swapped with Yogamaya, correct?
Correct.
The child which is born to Yashodamai. But then Yogamaya does not, I don't know what is the name. For Mahamaya only is Durgamai. Durgamai only is called, I don't remember other names, na, like Kali, Bhadrakali and all. But there also they are using the word that Yogamaya was born, but your name will be promoted by being called as so and so. So there also, somewhere these names are somewhere used sort of interchangeably.
I had asked this similar question to one very nice and great devotees who also appears on Hare Krishna TV. So for this, I would suggest we can go through, but you can you can go through 3-4 verses of Bhagavatam, and then we can discuss it next time with the same question from text number Canto 10, chapter 2, which is the Stuti by the Devatas. If you could go through text 8 to about text next 4-5 texts, Mataji. Okay. And then we can discuss, because then you would have a background. Here in this 4 to 5 verses, you would find Yogamaya and Mahamaya, both words being interchanged.
Oh, okay, Prabhu. Sorry, Canto 10, verse?
Canto 10, chapter 2, text 8 to 14, 15, 6, 7 verses, Mataji.
Done, Prabhu. I'll do.
Garbhastuti?
Garbhastuti, yes.
Yeah, okay. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so you can come read with this 4-5 verses, then we can start with this particular question next time around.
Sure, Prabhu. Done,
What is the difference between Yogamaya and Mahamaya? And how although both are eternally energies of Lord Krishna, what is the difference in terms of their actions on different living entities?
Sure, Prabhu. Okay. And also, sorry, Prabhu. And also the prasadam which is offered to the Durga Mai, right, over there, that is referring to Mahamaya or Yogamaya?
So see, Durga Mai is always the wife of Lord Shiva is always Mahamaya in general, yes. But she is also a great devotee of the Lord.
So there they are talking about that. And Yogamaya is there in Mathura. I think there's a separate deity for Yogamaya. So in India, at least to my knowledge, there is no separate temple for Yogamaya other than that, no, Prabhu. I don't know. I'm just asking.
See, but I have heard and seen quite a few times when Lord Jagannath is glorified. You know, Jai Jagannath, Yashoda Nandana, Jai Jagannath, Rohini Nandana, Jai Baladev, Yogamaya, Jaya Subhadra.
Correct.
Subhadra Mai is also glorified as Yogamaya.
Correct. Subhadra Mai. That I got it, Prabhu. But like exclusively temple for Yogamaya, we don't have. Only for Mahamaya, we have on the. That is what I was thinking. Thank you, Prabhu. A little bit of confusion. That's why. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so come right with these 4-5 verses, and we will discuss this as the first question next discussion. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Divya Rukmini Mataji.
No, this is Devika.
Oh, Devika. Sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Prabhu, what is the significance of born Mahamaya along with the Krishna when he born?
Oh, sorry. What is the significance of?
So for Mahamaya will born, no, Mataji, Prabhu. When Krishna also born to Devaki.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So actually that was Yogamaya who later transformed into Mahamaya. So for that only, Mataji, go through these 4-5 texts and we will take it as a first point of discussion. Okay? Canto 10, chapter 2, which is the Devatas Stuti, and text 8 to
14.
12-13, 5-6 text.
Okay.
With the purports. Okay?
Sure.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you all. Vamcha kalpa tarubhyascha krupa sindhubhya evacha pati tanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha ananta koti vaishnav vrinda ki jai Vaishnav Thakur ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Hare
Krishna.
Thank you, Pranams. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
I will end the meeting, Prabhu.
Dandavat.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.